Oh no! How's it going, guys? If you're interested in moving to the Salt Lake Valley, particularly the middle/south area of the valley in Sandy City, today I want to show you the area right around this golf course. We're at the River Oaks Golf Course here in Sandy, and I'm going to talk to you about just a little bit about the course, the neighborhood, and like a mile radius around us here, and just what's around. So let's check it out. Hopefully you like golf. So what are the homes like within a mile radius of this course? Well, normally in the Salt Lake Valley, the more east you go, the pricier the housing gets. We, however, at this golf course are sitting about 1 mile away from the I-15 freeway going north and south through our valley. And so because of that proximity to the freeway, the more east you go from here within a mile, the less expensive homes are going to be getting. And the further this way you go, the more pricey the homes are going to be getting. So anything from about $300K for a 2-bedroom, 950 square foot condo, all the way up to a little over $1 million. There's a few that have sold or are up for sale right now out this way that are going for about 1.150. Let's talk a little more at the next one. Oh no! Before I talk more about the homes in the area, let's talk about this golf course just a little bit. For 4 of us, it was about $145 for 9. We're just doing 9 here today. So that comes to about $36 per person. Old Mill is my favorite golf course for a reason. Part of that reason is that, you know, there's a lot of forgiveness in the fairways at Old Mill. I can hit and slice it and land it in the fairway next door, and it's still on a fairway, you know, it's playable from where I put it. River Oaks is a little more technical. There's less room for mistakes like I am prone to make, but this is a beautiful course, and my brokerage does a tournament here once a year. So I've been here, I'm not awesome to show it. All right, so again, we got 300-ish K homes. In fact, there's a whole slew of 300 to 315K of those 2-bedroom, 950-ish square foot condos I was telling you about. There's a jump up from that to the townhomes instead of the condos. They'll be in the 400 to 500 range. And then in the 500 to 650K range, there's a bunch of single family homes. Those are gonna be nice homes. They're gonna be like 200 to 2,500 square feet, you know, 2-car garage, 3 to 5 bedrooms, somewhere in there. And you know, you're not gonna have to tear them down and start over if you were to buy any of those homes. So those are good homes. And then of what's left, there were 50 homes, by the way, when I did this search, as though I were running a comparative market analysis. So 50 homes that are either on the market right now, under contract right now, or have sold in the last 3 months from right now in that 1 mile radius from the golf course here. And those single family homes that are further west, there's about 1/3 of them that were in the 500K range, and there's about 1/3 of them that are like 650 to 900K, and then there's the last third that are about $1 million to $1.150 million. And that's what the 500 range will get you. The million range, it's gonna be like 4,000 plus square feet. Some of them are gonna be like 5 garage homes. Some of them are gonna be pretty outdated, but they're sitting on like 1.5 acres to 2 acres, and they're horse property, and that goes for a higher amount. Some of those $1 million homes actually touch into West Jordan, just west of Sandy, and they're new builds in West Jordan, so that's some of those 1 million. And then some of those 1 million are gonna be nice homes, but just a little bit outdated. So a little bit nicer, a little bit less outdated than the agricultural or horse property homes. But when I say outdated, I mean they were like built in the 90s or early 2000s, and there haven't been any upgrades since. That's what your money will get you around River Oaks here. All right, so what's around here? It's a different day, obviously, and I'm wearing different clothes, but I wanted to come over here to this area to the east of that 1 mile radius of the River Oaks Golf Course and just show you a couple of things. So this is the Jordan Commons Megaplex Center. Now it's morning and it's kind of dead at the moment. It'll liven up at night in the evening for sure. So we've got the Megaplex, and right behind on the east side of the Megaplex here, we've got an office building that's still in operation. These 2 buildings, neither side of it, were restaurants. And when COVID happened, those got kind of shut down. The buildings are still there. Of course, the Megaplex itself also kind of shut down, but it is still in operation. I don't know if you've been to a movie theater recently, but at least around here, they've really livened back up as far as being a place that people go to and gather. I went to a movie, just like 2 weeks ago with some friends on a Tuesday evening, and it was slammed with young people and teenagers. This was built, it was about 25 years ago, and it was immediately a very popular area. It was new, it was cool. It was one of the nicer theaters in the Salt Lake Valley, and the restaurants that were around here were a big deal. all of it was new and cool. COVID happened, and like I said, kind of got shut down, but it's livening back up now. And this happens to be close to the center of where a lot of new activity is going to be happening across the next 5 to 10 years in the sports and entertainment world. So we've got just west of us here, across State Street. State Street is the other side of this Jordan Commons building, and just west of that across State Street is the Real Salt Lake soccer field, also called the America First soccer field. America First, not referring to a Trump administration motto, but just referring to the credit union that exists around here. And between here and the other side of that soccer field, across the next several years, the owners of this megaplex, the Larry H. Miller Corporation, they are planning a lot of expanded entertainment and restaurants and sports things because the sports world here is going to be getting bigger. Immediately south across the street from the megaplex over there is the Mountain America Expo Center. This is just an event center, and we see this part, it just extends on and on and on to the south. All sorts of things happen here. In fact, I looked up right before we came here today what's happening here in the near future. I'm just gonna read to you a short list of what's going on here. Okay, so there's a gem fair coming up in a few weeks. A couple of weeks after that, there's the Utah Golf Expo. In Utah, there's a second holiday in July, on July 24th. It's to commemorate when the Mormon pioneers settled the valley. So there's a parade that happens to commemorate that, and there's a float preview party here at the Expo Center that day. There's another gem fair coming up toward the end of the month. There's a Salt Lake Home Expo coming up. It's an exposition of all sorts of like home improvement tools and services. No lie, there is what's called an Oddities and Curiosities Expo. Sounds like Harry Potter. I don't know what's gonna be going on there. And there's all sorts of other stuff. I've been here for a FitCon. If you've ever heard of Comic-Con, it's like that, but geared toward fitness. There's like, obviously all sorts of fitness influencers and American Ninja Warrior stuff that happens. There's fight stuff that happens here. There'll be hunting expos here. I've been to 1 or 2 of those. So a lot of stuff happens here. And between the megaplex across the street, the Expo Center here, and the sports field across State Street from here, there's a lot happening. This is already a bit of a city center, and across the next 5-10 years, they're going to be adding to the nature of the city center with more sports and entertainment and even housing. Other than that, it's mostly homes, this golf course, a couple of schools, and the Jordan River Parkway. Jordan River runs actually right through River Oaks here. Jordan River runs all the way through the valley north-south, just a few blocks west of the freeway. So there's Jordan River Parkway, which you could go either north or south on from the golf course here. All right, let's see how I do on this one. I don't think I've ever even hit the 4-iron. Let's see what happens. Guys, if you're bringing a family with you to this area and you're looking at schools, well, within a mile radius of here, there's just 2 schools. One of them is an elementary school, Riverside Elementary, and that scores on the niche.com and on the, I always forget, reportcard.utah.schools.gov, I think is what it is. It scores like average, a little better than average, to be honest. There's also Salt Lake Community College, Sandy campus, within this 1 mile radius. But if we're going outside of the 1 mile radius just to see what's close, if you live here, then the elementary school your kids are gonna be going to most likely is that Riverside, and then the middle school is gonna be Mount Jordan, and then the high school is gonna be Jordan High School. Mount Jordan and Jordan High School, they both rank like average to better than average, and the only thing that brings it down from better than average rating is that it seems not to score well for those who speak English as a second language. But other than that, it's a good school. If Sandy feels like your vibe, particularly around the River Oaks course, hit me up, let me know. And you know, we didn't talk about restaurants too much in this video. That's because there happens to not be a lot of restaurants within the 1 mile radius that's around this course. But if you check out my most recent Sandy video, I'll talk about a bunch of my favorite restaurants. Sandy's huge. And so it's got a lot of great restaurants. Some of my favorites that I've mentioned before are Tin Roof Grill, Hoof and Vine, Tiburon. Yeah, those are the ones off the top of my head, but there's a ton of places to eat here in Sandy. It's a good thing that we didn't, you know, show how keeping score went, because I did abysmal today, but this is a more technical course, and I'm no pro. So moral of the story is, if you want to move to Sandy, hit me up. I'll be happy to help you find the right place. If you want to play me in golf, you'll probably win. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, bye-bye.